Hey everyone. So my email inbox has been full. My voicemail is almost full. I'm trying to be good about um, getting through the voicemails and getting back to everybody. And the hot topic right now is all about ESY. I just talked to a couple of master IP coaches, just talked with a couple of parents, and there are some crazy ESY solutions that are happening. And so I'm curious, tell me below, what do you think is going to happen with ESY and your child? Is it happening? Is it not happening? Is it happening digitally? Distance learning, remote learning, what's going on? So we have everything from situations where teachers are getting caseloads of dozens of students to take care of over the summer, and they've never met them before. So their first experience with the children is going to be through distance learning, and it's going to be their job to make some sense of ESY and to help work on some IEP goals, some version of something, not really sure what they're going to work on. And then, let's see, it's getting a little, shadows are funny here. There we go. So teachers are a bit overwhelmed with their caseloads that are happening. Parents are, some of them are being asked to sign pieces of paper that say, basically they're giving up ESY due to not being able to have it. But if they're able to have it, then don't worry, you'll still get it. But in the meantime, sign this piece of paper that says it's okay that we don't do ESY. Not really too sure about that. I'm sure it went through the school district lawyer and that in some way it, passed the legal test for being legal to give to parents. But the parent who reached out to me about that specific piece of paper, I'll be giving her some direction on what to clarify in the IEP before she signs off on that addendum, meaning that it needs to be very clear that the only reason that, she's saying okay to this kind of, it's a weird addendum to ESY. The only reason that she's saying okay is because you're fully documenting that the child needs ESY, should have ESY, but due to the current circumstances, this is what's going to happen. It's very weird. It's a very weird piece of paper that has a lot of legal jargon in it that really is, it's like saying two different things at once. Like, we're not going to give it to you, but we know that you need it, but it's not going to happen. So can you just say it's okay that it's not going to happen? So it's not okay that it's not going to happen. We'll accept the certain, circumstances, but it's not okay. It's not okay. We have Michele that says, I'm afraid that kids are going to regress this summer in ways we have never seen before. I think for some kids, that absolutely could be true. I did just get feedback from a BCBA or an RBT, Registered Behavior Tech, who said that, she's back in the clinic and of her ABA therapy clinic. So she's able to start working with kids again, hands-on. So I do think that some kids who have access to outside therapies may be able to stabilize. Now, can we get creative with the school providing ESY through outside therapies? Maybe. I don't know how many of you guys just kind of picked up on that. But if the school can't provide in-person therapies, but they're in-person school, but the outside therapists can meet with the kids, why can't ESY be customized to include those outside providers? There's no rule that says that it can't, guys. That's a huge creative tip for how to get around some of this stuff. We have Jason who says that his kids are already regressing. We have Katherine who says remote. I'm doing my own at my house for my kids. End of story. Katherine's done. She is done. She's done. How many of you guys feeling like that? You're like, end of story, done. All right. We had, my son's doing virtual ESY. Let's see. Kiki says, hey, Kiki. Kiki's a master IEP coach. My district will have been out for 6 months. I'm very concerned about our children falling so far behind. So I want to reframe this a little bit. Kids are going to be behind. Be behind of what? Okay? So I just want to call it out that like everybody's in the same situation. So it's not like some kids are going to school right now. I mean, some kids are. Some 20% of the country did not lock down. But what I'm saying is like, if your school district locked down, everybody's in the same boat, okay? So that means like, you're not going to be behind. Now, are you going to have made as much progress as predicted in the IEP when it comes to the end of first quarter next year? Are you going to be on point for that? Probably not. In several IEP goals, probably not. But that doesn't mean you're behind. It means that we have to readjust for what happened. We're just readjusting. So it's not about being behind. This is not a sprint. This is a marathon. Okay. So kids who have IEPs are in school until their 22nd birthday, most of them. Okay. In school until their 22nd birthday. We've got time, and kids are growing in ways that we cannot measure, right? They're growing in ways that we cannot measure. So being behind is not where we want to get tripped up at. But we do want to establish baseline. That's for sure. So regression and being behind, two very different things. So Kiki, I love that you used that term so we could kind of talk that out, because that's going to help somebody right now feel like, oh yeah, there is no behind. Allison is a master IEP coach. Allison is done too. Allison is brewing her kombucha and making her sourdough and taking care of her two kids who they both have Down syndrome, and they're just so freaking adorable. And I know all of this stuff about Allison, not because she's my neighbor, because she has really good Instagram stories. So, Allison is just done. Let's see. Michele says, we're going to have to get very creative, and parents are going to have to fight for that, right? I actually do not. Ooh, I'm going to ruffle some feathers right now. I don't feel like you have to fight for it. I feel like you have to negotiate, get creative, get documentation, and move forward as fast as possible to like be ahead of that line of people that are going to be lining up. It's seriously, can you imagine being a special ed administrator or a director or, kind of a higher up case manager? It's like people are going to be waiting with their torches outside of the door. Like, give me, give me, give me, give me. And you don't want to be in that gang of people. You don't want it. You don't want to be in that line. You want to get ahead of the line. Let me share with you right now. This is how you get ahead of the line. You become a master IEP coach. I have, just in the last 24 hours, I have 4 school professionals who have signed up to become a master IEP coach. They are ready. They are ready to work with parents, and they want to know the best way to do that. This master IEP coach mentorship, it's for parents, teachers, admins, and therapists who don't want to fight, but they do want to make sure that every child's getting an appropriate education. Does that cause tension sometimes? Yes. Should that tension be temporary? Yes. We do not burn bridges over disagreements. We have tension. We have tough decisions to make. We have tough things that need to get done. And then we keep going. We find solutions in there. Let's see. We have, Jason says, here in Texas is an ARD meeting, not an IEP. Yes, Jason, I'm familiar because we have several master IEP coaches who are in Texas because Texas is a hot mess in a lot of ways when it comes to special education. So I love having master IEP coaches in the trenches there working through ARD meetings for sure. Kiki, thank you so much. I see your compliment there. Let's see. Michele says, do you remember me from way back when? On Twitter. Yes, I do, Michele. Hello, Michele. I love that. You have to learn how to advocate and be a mediator instead of an aggressor. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Michele, it's nice to see you over here in Facebook land. Oh my goodness. Twitter so long ago. Let's see. We have Tessa. Tessa is a master IEP coach also. She says, we were just sent a survey if our kid would do ESY this summer. I said no because I'm done. Tessa's done. We've got Katherine, not me. It was some other Katherine. We've got Katherine, Allison, and Tessa who are like, done. They're done. All right. They don't even care about ESY. Done. We were just, let's see. Because I don't see the pros to it because it's not the same. First summer since age 3, he isn't doing ESY and he's 15. But I don't want them to get it with accountability. How do I manage? Just document. You document that you 100% believe that your son needs ESY. However, due to the current virus crisis, he is not receiving educational benefits from the programs that are being offered, and that you will be looking to remedy this situation when in-person schooling returns. Now notice that wasn't wimpy, right? That wasn't wimpy. We're going to remedy this situation. But it also isn't going to say, and you're accountable, and I'm going to take you to comp ed, and that's compensatory education, and I'm going to file a state complaint, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do that. So we don't need threats. Tessa knows this. I'm just sharing everybody else because Tessa's a master IEP coach. I've worked with her for a really long time. I just want to give a shout out to the organization that she's involved with. It's Dupe 15Q. And Dupe 15Q is an amazing organization, and I want to say that they call their kids dupers in there, and I love it. They have their duper families, and they're amazing. And being a special needs sibling myself, I have my brother who's 42 with Down syndrome, so we have the chromosome thing happening in the Down syndrome community, and Dupe 15Q is another chromosome thing that happens. So I feel a great connection to their community, and they do amazing things for their families. So a little shout out to Dupe 15Q. Let's see. Sarah says, I need those words in writing so I remember them. Guess what, Sarah? You joined. It's like behind door number 1. You joined the IEP Masterclass. I saw you come through after we chatted here out with everybody yesterday, last night, or this morning, or sometime. Tessa says, yes, super dupers. I knew it was something super cute like that. Okay, so Dupe 15Q has super dupers. So Sarah, inside of the IEP Masterclass, I'm actually writing out what I just said for you in a full formal letter. So you're going to have a couple of examples of what to write regarding ESY, reasonable expectations, or ESY, and you're denying participating in ESY because you're like, done. But it's not because your child doesn't need it. It's not because you want to give up accountability. It's not because of any of that. It's just like, you're like, I need some weeks before we jump back into whatever school's going to look like. Okay. And that's okay to do that. So Sarah, you get all of that. Let me go ahead and pull that up for everybody. Let's see. I know I wrote it here yesterday. Come on over to iepmasterclass.com. And that's where you get the letter templates of what I'm talking about. Like when I just kind of spit out those words, those are all the words that I've been writing and will be continuing to write to help master IEP coaches who then help all different families in that. So this is IEP Masterclass is online access to the strategies that you need to get through this crisis and so much more. The IEP Masterclass has existed a long, long, long time. So and it includes the special education inner circle. So you may have heard me talk about that before. All right, let's see what else we got. Let's see. We have, Elle says, we haven't received any info regarding ESY. That is very common right now. The latest update today was that they would keep us posted as soon as they know. That's like what it is. It's like, I have a big update. I'll update you later when I know something. So that's very, very common. A lot of people have not heard anything at all. So Sarah says, awesome. They won't even offer it here for my son anyway, just concentrating on life skills right now. You know what? We're all concentrating on life skills, right? And I'm not just talking for our students. I'm talking about just life skills of what it's like to deal with this chaos and different rules and the things that people are saying are going to happen, 30, 60, 90 days from now as we try to like resume some version of normal, whatever that is. Oh my goodness, we're all working on that. So ESY will most likely be virtual. I think that's going to be true for most of the schools who are shut down in that way. So, all right, guys, I want to encourage you that if you want to really nail all things IEPs, and I'm not talking about in a legal way, okay? I'm talking about in a way that makes sense for what's happening in the real world. Does special education need to follow the law? Absolutely. Absolutely. Ideal law, purpose and findings. Every IEP should provide a free and appropriate public education to meet a child's unique needs, to prepare them for further education, employment, and independent living. There you go. That's what needs to get done. That law that everybody's reciting, this section, that section, this is this, that's all the what. What needs to happen? Goals need to be written. What needs to happen? Assessments need to be done. What needs to happen? Okay? The question is how? How do you get that done? Great. I know we're supposed to have good goals. Great. I know we're supposed to have baseline data. Great. I know that we're supposed to have an individualized plan. But how do I get that done? That's what we do in the Master IP Coach Mentorship. We are actually in the trenches working on all the hows. You get to learn from hundreds of Master IP coaches of how to get things done. You get to learn from their experience. I have 2 decades of experience as one person. You get to learn from our Master IP Coach leadership team. So you get to learn, how do you get things like ESY nailed down, if not this summer, for next summer? How do you get a communication plan in place from home to school? Because, oh my goodness, that's going to be huge next year, right? We can't have schools and parents not talking to each other as we transition back to school. Okay, that's going to have to happen. So how do you get that done? How do you get a good parent input statement? How do you make sure therapies are happening? How do you do all that? That's exactly what we do inside the Master IP Coach program. So, we got Lorena here. She's a Master IP Coach in North Carolina. Thank you, Lorena. I appreciate that. They have a whole thing going on in North Carolina there as Master IP Coaches. Lots of work to do there too. Amber, I saw your registration come through too. In fact, I was going to message you. Amber, if I remember right, you're from Hawaii. You're from Hawaii. And you told me that special education is in a really bad place in Hawaii in a way that you don't have enough teachers there. And I think I remember that. I'm not kidding you, like way back in the day, like 2 decades ago, I remember thinking like I was in my 20s and I was like, oh my gosh, like Hawaii will like pay me to go there and live there and be a special ed teacher. I probably thought about it if I remember, I'm remembering it with that. So to hear that the shortage is still happening is a little crazy. So Tessa says, is your conference still happening or did I miss that memo? So here's what happens. Master IEP coaches get together for an annual conference in July. And this year it's July 10th, 11th, and 12th. And it is happening both in person and virtually. And in person is not going to happen in a big meeting room. This is where I get to use my special education teacher skills from the past. And we're actually going to have mini classrooms. We'll have groups of no more than 10. And we're going to have some virtual teaching. And then we're going to have small work groups. And we're just going to keep it low key in person because I do have several Master IP coaches who are like, I don't care what happens, but I'm coming to Chicagoland because you need to see your fellow Master IP coaches. So Tessa, watch your emails for that, or I can shoot you a message on Facebook with the link if you want to attend in person or virtually. So yes, our Master IP Coach conference is still happening. Oh, look at Kiki. She said, I was asked by my teachers union to speak at the first teacher union meeting to help teachers better understand IEPs and appropriate IEP language. That's what master IEP coaches do. Yes, girl. Yes. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. All right. Let's see. Michele, wait, it was in 2008? Oh my goodness gracious. All right, I've been doing this internet thing. You just totally proved that, like, I'm not a newbie here and doing the whole, like, online teaching and internet thing, right? This is not something that I came up with yesterday. I was hanging out on Twitter way back in 2008, helping parents. Let's see. So Ember says, yes, she is in Hawaii. Oh, look at who we have here. Let me give a shout out to, that's it. I'm coming in at like 5 o'clock, 5:30 Central Time, because all my friends are coming up here. This is Holly. Holly is I met Holly through Lorena. So remember I just said Lorena is a master IEP coach in North Carolina. I'm pretty sure. Or maybe I met Holly first and then I met Lorena. I don't know. Which came first, chicken or the egg? I don't know, guys. But Holly is the executive director of the Down Syndrome Association of North Carolina, Greater Charlotte area. I don't know if I got the words in the right order, but it's the Greater Charlotte area DSA. So Down Syndrome Association for that. So they are amazing. I've gone down to speak to their groups in person quite a few times. Holly is a rock star with the DSA organization, getting parents and team members and teachers and therapists kind of like all in the same room, learning awesome things together. So let's see. Oh my gosh, Michele just said her son graduated high school last year. That's the one that I helped in 2008. Oh, crazy. Okay, let's see. We've got, Ember says, I'm a gen ed teacher who asked to teach special ed next year and was told that I might not be able to because I'm currently in gen ed. What? But they're short certified SPED teachers. Oh, our system, y'all. Our system has so much red tape. So much red tape. Let's see. I'm looking through. While I'm looking through, who else has an idea of what's happening for either one of two things? What's happening with ESY in your district? Or tell me, are you done? Are you like, I don't even care about ESY at this point. Whatever happens, happens, because I am so done in there. I'm so excited to see you guys here today. All right. Oh, Michele just said you have to get an emergency certification. So I wonder if they have something like that in your state. There you go. Ember, Michele says, go see if you can get a temp certificate or an emergency certificate for that. So Sarah, then you're going to be transferring. Let's see. Let me look at this. Oh, one of my son's parents just left the school after the first year because she became a full-time ABA therapist. Yeah, that's happening a lot. Absolutely happening a lot. There's a big demand in the ABA therapy world. And quite honestly, the pay is better. And they still get to help, students achieve their goals. They just have to do it in a different environment. So that is not surprising to me. So, all right, guys. Thank you for hanging out with me, helping me end my day. It's been a long, wonderful day of welcoming new people into the Master IEP Coach Mentorship and really helping parents and teachers and teams navigate this whole ESY thing. And what do you say? And should you know more right now? And what are the options? And what do you do? Just what do you do about this? So every situation is extremely unique. I know that it's frustrating for all of you. There is hope and silver linings that will be coming for all of this. If you're on my email list, you heard me say today that this is the perfect opportunity for us to get rid of the 1980s version of special education that we see in so many different schools and move on to really creating IEPs that are meant for the real world. And I truly, honestly believe that this is the door opening for us to get rid of the old school thought process, jump into getting goals that will truly prepare a child for their future, and get them ready for this real world. And you know what? This is not the preferred path that we would have taken to get there, but that doesn't mean that we let go of the opportunity to say this wasn't working before. It's definitely not working now. And what are we going to put together to make sure that it does work in the future? So I hope you come join us in the Master IP Coach Mentorship. Bye, guys. I'll see you guys soon.